You may be faced with a situation where you have two canopies deployed. Both the main and the reserve parachutes are out of the container. It's been shown that the two canopy configuration can be landed safely, but you may need to use emergency procedures in this situation. Let's have a look at 4 possible configurations.
There are several configurations where you can have two canopies out. They are usually classified as low-speed malfunctions since both canopies are fully inflated. They all share 2 common causes, either a low pull while the AAD is firing, or a dislodged reserve pin, which can allow the reserve parachute to deploy as you deploy the main. A side-by-side is where 2 canopies are flying wingtip to wingtip in the same direction. The effect is that you'll have a relatively slow rate of descent. The remedy is to fly the dominant canopy gently and leave the other canopy's brakes stowed. Land without flaring and do a PLR. If the canopies show any indication of separation whatsoever, then the main canopy must be cut away. A biplane is where the canopies are flying one in front of the other. Again, the effect is that you'll have a relatively slow rate of descent. If the leading edge of the rear canopy is underneath the trailing edge of the dominant front canopy, it's usually pretty stable and can be landed safely. The remedy is to fly the dominant canopy gently and leave the other canopy's brakes stowed, land without flaring, and do a PLR. If the leading edge of the dominant rear canopy is above the trailing edge of the front canopy, it may develop into a side-by-side or even a downplane. The downplane is where the 2 canopies are flying apart in opposite directions, with both canopies diving towards the ground. The effect is that you'll have a relatively high rate of descent, so it can be considered a high-speed malfunction. The remedy is to jettison your main parachute immediately by pulling your cutaway handle. Two out with a deflated second canopy occurs when one canopy has inflated fully, while the other is either still in the bag or in a partial state of inflation. The effect is that the second canopy is trailing behind. If it's out of the bag, the canopy could inflate and cause entanglement. Your rate of descent will be relatively slow since you have a fully inflated canopy above you. If either canopy remains in the bag, the remedy is to gather it up and smother it between the legs to prevent inflation. main canopy deploys fully with the reserve in a partial stage of deployment, the remedy is to shake the risers to aid deployment and prepare to take action with the resulting configuration. If the reserve deploys fully and the main canopy is in a partial stage of deployment, the remedy is to pull the cutaway handle immediately.